Hi, so probably because this is a new channel, I'll upload probably more than enough videos for anyone to have to watch, but I wanted to kind of start where my writing began. And I'm in my 40s now, and when I was in my 20s, my husband at the time, not the one I have now, but the one I had before, we were going to move to LA and he was going to be an actor and I was going to be a screenwriter. So I wrote a children's screenplay, and I actually was able to call Nickelodeon on the phone and ask if I could send it, and they gave me the information and even faxed me their, I don't think we had email back then. Maybe. They faxed me over their cover sheet and everything, which is crazy because that doesn't happen anymore. At the time, the only children movie they had was Matilda. And I got it rejected, and then I had babies and life happened, and when I decided to write again, I pulled it out and I was mortified at all the mistakes that I had had in that misspelling. I did it back on DOS. It looked awful. So a couple years ago, I wrote this book, Crow, and I got so excited. I just tore through it. I was a mad writer. I worked with an editor who couldn't even handle all the mistakes that I had, paid money, which you should never do on a first draft because it's a waste of money. You need to wait and put in your time. Wrote a query letter in 2 seconds and zipped it out to like 86 agents. And I probably got 50 rejections, and the last 36 didn't even reply. And that was a huge mistake. So it's probably one of the biggest advice that I can give for new writers is take your time and be patient. You were not going to have a first draft and it worked. You're not going to have a second, third, fourth, 10th draft and get it to work. I didn't realize how, even though I thought I could tell a good story, how I didn't know how to write. I really didn't. I had to go back to sixth grade English level and actually relearn everything about commas and things like that, and I still don't know. I'm sure my work definitely needs an editor to work with it. And I was really embarrassed that, oh, I'm just going to write a book and then I'm going to sell it and then I'm going to be on the New York Times bestseller list and, people are going to make a movie out of my book. And the bottom line is that writing is like any profession. If you're a doctor, you have to go to school. I'm a nurse. It took me a lot of years to be a nurse. And then once I was a nurse, I had to train on the job. And the new skills I got took time and money and a lot of frustration and being open-minded. And so the first thing that I learned as a writer is you just don't wake up one day and say, I'm a writer. You have to pay your dues. Every person has had to pay their dues. I'm still paying my dues. And I think that, I don't know if it was my ego or whatever happened, but I've never had so much rejection in my life. And I was despondent and I thought that I was a loser. And who did I think I was, thinking I was going to be a writer? And then I had to take a step back and say, you got to put the work in. You have to really put the work in and take the time. I'm still not published, but I'm hopeful. And every time I read my work, it gets better. And it's probably been through 25 drafts. I had a full request about 4 months ago. I had not completely finished all my edits and hauled ass in a week. Rushed through it, sent it out, and it was an agent that I really wanted, and she was like, thank you, but no thanks. I've since read that work, and I'm absolutely mortified that I even sent that out, and I asked for another chance, and she said no, and that is my fault. And, that's one of the biggest advice I can give someone is it's just, I hate the cliche, oh, it's not a race, but it's not. And there are so many agents now that if they see my title, which is Crow, they're like, oh, I remember that. I mean, there's no way it can, no matter what she does, could it be any better? Because it was so bad when I sent it out. So if you're starting off writing, take your time, like really, really take your time. You probably have to go through 10 drafts before you can even get a beta reader. And I will touch on that on my next video, and hopefully you can learn more about that, because I've had some crazy experiences and some good ones. So that just gives you a little background where I'm at. I'm going to sign off, and then I'll do another video on beta readers, so you can kind of get an idea. I can tell you where I found mine, and we'll just go from there. So thank you. I'm signing off for the love of words, and I will see you soon. Thank you.